Hello everybody. Just hanging out today, working on a commission. We've got Cerebus and a Ninja Turtle. I've actually never drawn either one of these guys before. This one has been a bit of a struggle, but I think I'm finding it here. I got some encouraging words from a pal of mine, Dan, was telling me that this one was worth pursuing still, so we'll see what we can do tonight. I'm gonna do some blacken some areas first, I think. Big thing I've been working on lately is really getting my solid blacks, my spotted black areas looking good, and that has always been kind of tricky for me. I tend to, a lot of my older stuff is more of like a clean line style. When I do my black in spots, I usually use some Q-tips, just a big old bag of Q-tips, and this is an easier way to fill in some black areas without using up one of your good brushes. So let's see if we can do some of that. I just reorganized my studio yesterday, so I'm trying to find things. All right. So this commission, the guy wanted Cerebus and a Ninja Turtle, but the Ninja Turtle had kind of gone to Cerebus's world, so it's got a medieval feeling to it. I thought it was a cool idea because I've never done anything with either one of these two really. I've done some turtles drawings before, but a lot of turtle drawings actually. My kid really likes Ninja Turtles, so I draw them for her, but when I was a kid I used to draw them a lot. Now Cerebus I have never drawn before, and if I'm being honest, I've never actually read much Cerebus comics. I would still like to pick some up at some point. I think I maybe missed the boat in a way because now it's all seen within the context of Dave Sim as we know him now, for better or worse. I picked this trick up ages ago from a guy I followed on Tumblr, Scuds McKenzie, or something like that, I think is what he was calling himself at the time. And he had mentioned using the Q-tips. I'm not sure where he got the tip from, but ever since I saw that, this is the way I've been doing it. And it's funny because maybe a year ago, I was at C2E2, and guy comes up to me and introduces himself. He said he follows me online, and I was like, oh cool, and I asked him his name, and he told me, and he said his name was Derek, and I was like, okay. And then I asked his Instagram handle, and it was this guy that I used to follow on Tumblr that I had seen on Instagram as well. Scuds Inc. is what he goes by on Instagram, Derek. And I was like, dude, I used to follow your stuff way back in the day on Tumblr. And we had a nice moment and got to know each other a little bit. And he just moved to Chicago, and now he's one of our great Chicago people here. Chicago has a great comic scene, so it's always good to get more people in here to join in the fun. But check out his work, Scuds Inc. on Instagram. He's a good dude. Got a lot of energy in his work. So right now, like I said, I'm just filling in some black areas. This one's going to need some more detail work done, but something I've been trying to do lately to get better at doing some spotted blacks in my work is to do that earlier in the process, so that before I go in and render something out and fall in love with some cross hatching or something I've done, I've actually thought about the light and dark balance of the piece a little bit more, and so hopefully it's a little more successful in that regard. I really wanted this one to be moody, so hopefully I can accomplish that here with some dark areas and this like really high contrast lighting. Check these messages here. I'm trying to do more of these. It is fun to get on here and either talk about some things or do some work. I had a child right a few months before the pandemic kind of kicked off, and it definitely affected my ability to get work done and to do things like live streams. So I'm trying to finally get back to some of that. I had bought a bunch of gear a while ago to do live streaming, and then after the kid and the pandemic, I just sort of never got a chance to use it. So trying to still work out some kinks. So if something's terrible sounding or looking, feel free to let me know. I usually work a lot of white back in my work too, so sometimes I'm not at this stage. There's still a lot of cleanup that will probably happen. It's also kind of weird to work with this camera right here. I'm not really used to that yet. I might as well just fill this in over here. Probably good for me not to hunch over as much though. Yeah, the design of Cerebus is really weird. It's one of those designs that I feel like if you're the person who made it up, it's probably really fun to draw, but if you're not, it's kind of hard to figure out, the structures of the face and everything. So I was kind of struggling with that. I think I got him, and I think it looks like my version of him, so, that's always the goal. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to do, Cerebus the way Dave Sim would draw him, but hopefully it looks a little more like how I would draw things. Kind of fudging I have the perspective lines actually on here, but I don't really care. I think it doesn't need to be exact on something like this. But I did a whole 3-point perspective when I was laying this out. I did the layout on, for anybody who's interested, I do the layout for some of these bigger pieces, not all of them, but some of them I'll do the layout on a iPad, and then print that onto the back in reverse, and then I can light box that onto the front. When I'm doing my pages, I usually just work straight on top of the blue, but with the commissions it's nice if it can not have that blue printout under it. And so my buddy Dave Acosta is the one who told me about this. This is the way he does it. He traces it from the back as well. Because the back, what I do for the layout is pretty loose. So there's still a lot of drawing that I do once I get on the paper. A lot of times it's, the one of the reasons I work on the iPad is that I can take it with me places when I'm with my daughter. If I'm watching her and I gotta go to the park or wait for her at a class or something, and so I can work on it. So that's one reason. The other reason is that when you are doing layouts, it's kind of nice to be able to move things around or draw a perspective grid in. I still prefer doing a lot of work on the paper because it's just more fun for me, and I think it looks a little different when you actually do a lot of the work on the paper. Not necessarily better, but for me, I feel like I'm able to accomplish closer to what I'm looking for when I'm working on paper for more of the process. I have done a few things full on digital, but it's hard for me to do a whole piece and have it all be just digital. This is probably not very exciting to watch me fill in blanks, but this is what I got to do tonight, so this is what you're going to see. And while this dries, maybe I can go look at a comic with you guys for a minute. I usually keep a few around to reference or look at, especially when I'm waiting for ink to dry. It's fun to draw with a little with the Q-tip as well. Hey there, pal. Good to see you. Thanks for checking out the channel there, man. I haven't even been able to watch other people's streams lately. I hope yours has been going well, Mr. Ickthie. I do like to watch people work, but a lot of times when I have YouTube on, it's because I'm working, and I can't really watch other people work when I'm working, so I don't turn that kind of thing on as much as I would like to. And then at night, sometimes I try to unplug from all of it. So time's been a little limited. I've been pretty busy lately, so I think comics are just a very labor-intensive thing, and if you make them for any amount of time, you still don't. I mean, you can get a little faster, but I mean, there's lines, and you got to draw them, and that takes time, you know. Let's see, get this top up here. So what I want is like a dry brush up here. You can kind of do that with a Q-tip. This is the kind of thing too that when you're working on a commission can be fun. Is like dry brush and stuff is looks really cool. It's fun to do, doing little effects and stuff. But something like this, these lines here aren't going to translate well if I was to get it ready for print and get it ready for color. A lot of that stuff would get lost just in the process of kind of cleaning up your line work. But on a commission, it's just going to be hopefully on someone's wall or in a portfolio, and so the way it looks on paper is really the most important thing. Whereas if you're doing, when I'm working on pages for a book, the most important thing is how it's going to look when it's printed. But when you're doing a commission, you know, the commission is the final piece. So you can kind of have a little more fun with textures and stuff if you like that kind of thing, or I do. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for checking it out again. I appreciate that, Ickthie. Like I said, I love watching people work. There's a few people I still try to tune into here and there. Because everybody works so different, even if their work looks similar. There's so many different things I see when I watch other people or work around other people. I love to go work around other people and have like studio days and stuff where I have somebody over, or they visit, or I visit them, and kind of just, you know, talk shop. Since this is such a solitary thing, it is nice when you can share some of that energy and all the weird thoughts you have about whatever it is, your tools, your rendering, with somebody else who maybe knows and understands where you're coming from. I just want to push some of this back. The whole point is to get these hot spots to pop a little bit. You can also experiment. I try to experiment a lot more when I get a commission and try different techniques maybe I haven't tried before, and then maybe incorporate that into my regular workflow if it turns out to be, you know, something that looks cool or could be translatable to the stuff for the printed page. You know, there's probably ways to get some of these kind of things to print, but when you're working with traditional printing and color people, you know, there is just a certain workflow that is sort of expected, and it really drops out a lot of the mid-tones, which makes it print a lot better. But oh, cool, you got a book coming up on Kickstarter, Flock. That sounds awesome. I need to do another Kickstarter here soon. I've been dreaming of it. Writing down all my ideas for my next campaign. It will happen, hopefully sometime this year. We'll see. I would really like it to be this year, but we will see. No promises, but because I don't usually do campaigns until the work is done, like the book is drawn. And the one that I'm working on is the third Heiress, which well, we're not working on it right now, but it's still got a ways to go before it's finished. So I don't want to launch a campaign and not have a book to sell. I'm gonna move this for a second here. Okay, it's sort of working. I don't know. This is. I think you want to find shapes that are interesting, but it's sort of got to look accurate to where they're supposed to be, I guess. Yeah, newsletter on Substack, that could be cool. No updates on Beef Bros right now, other than just I will hopefully have some more in hand soon and make those available. I do still have a few left on my website, not very many. I sold a bunch at C2E2 this last month and have not replenished my stock yet. So, but yeah, no new Beef Bros at the moment. Me and Aubrey are both really busy with a couple other things. Aubrey has 4 books going now? Man, he is a busy dude. I did just talk to him earlier though, and he's doing well. But yeah, we're both a little busy with other things right now, so we haven't had time to really even think about it. So who knows? Someday, you know. It's hard. Schedule is always the hardest thing. You know, the schedule and personal life concerns and things like that are always some of the hardest things when you're trying to collaborate with somebody. You know, it's like the stars have to align sometimes. But he's doing well. I was just actually when I was cleaning up my studio yesterday, I was putting away some Beef Bros pages that I had moved around my portfolios a little bit to have stuff where I wanted it for the convention, and yeah, I had a bunch of Beef Bros pages I was going through and just kind of remembering some cool moments that we got to do in that book. It was really fun to draw those characters because they're very expressive, and the new book I'm working on right now, The Schlub, is very similar in that regard, and then I get to do a lot of big expressions on big people and stuff. So I think that's maybe what people are looking at me for right now. So I'm fine doing more of that at the moment. You know, I'm enjoying doing the big expressive superhero stuff right now. Is really fun. I've done a lot of different other kinds of comics, and they're all fun for different reasons. But right now, this is just where my head's at. You know, it might not be here in 10 years. I don't know. But right now, big, like, big stuff. You know, like work that feels large and intense is what I'm going for right now. Trying to capture mood and motion and weight and those kind of things. Oh man, you didn't hear about the Schlub yet? So the Schlub is my new comic coming out from Image Comics. The release date is not known. Well, I can't tell anybody yet, but soon you will find out. Well, actually, I think I can say it's coming out in August. There's no solicitation up yet, but it is coming out in August. So it's written by Ryan Stegman of Spider-Man and Venom fame, and Kenny Porter, who is working on a bunch of great stuff at DC right now, including I think Superboy, and he did some Flash stuff. DC Mech was his. So those two are co-writing it, and then I am drawing it and inking it and all that. And we have Mike Spicer, the genius on colors. So yeah, I am currently, that is what is taking up the majority of my time, which is great. It's a blast to work on. The book is going to be so much fun. I think people are going to love it. I think especially if you dug the kind of things I did for my Inktober's, or if you dug Beef Bros, or even Eris. There's a lot of the similar kind of feeling to it. Lots of big action, fights, huge characters with big personalities and bold designs, and really going all out and trying to make a cool new superhero that is also maybe a little more relatable. So yeah, the Schlub coming out soonish, August. Everyone should go buy it. I'll probably be posting a lot more about it and doing more live streams around it as it gets closer. I'm hoping to do some walkthroughs of the original art, and maybe like a director's commentary on some of the issues. Heck, I could probably even get Ryan and Kenny on here for some of those. We've done a few things like that for Ryan's Substack, so if people are on his Substack, they'll probably have seen me on there a couple times talking about the Schlub for Substack subscribers. But yeah, Ryan and I met, I don't know, years ago, digitally, and then we didn't meet in person until last year. But I talk to him regularly on the internets while we're working. We'll chat with each other and stuff. And he approached me about drawing this book for him that he had created called The Schlub. And I said, heck yeah, man, let's do it. We had been wanting to collaborate, or, I've been wanting to collaborate with some of the other people that I work with just socially, that I know socially, but I haven't worked with before. And so it was nice of Ryan to ask me to do it. And it has been a lot of fun. And Kenny Porter is great. I had done a pitch with Kenny Porter in the past. We pitched the Mech book, actually, when I had just a little bit after I quit my job to do this full time, and Kenny and I did a 3-page Mech story. Actually, here, I'll show you some pages, guys. Even though one of them, I just sold one of them. Let me see if I have them over here. Let's let this dry. While that dries, let's flip through this really quick here. I got some of my art here. Where is it? I thought it was in here. Maybe not. Well, I got some other stuff in here. What else we got in here? Some other pitches. I don't know if I'm supposed to show these or not. None of these got picked up, so I don't know why I can't. But This is some art from Drones. This actually came out through Matt and Mary Lowry's Thoughtscape Comics. That was really fun. There's an album cover I did for a band. There's a cover for a Takeshi Miike Blu-ray. Here's some Doom pages. Oh, here we go. These are for Kenny's Kenny and my pitch. Star Spread Panic is I think what we called it, and we did these giant robots. But I wanted them to look still a little more. I'm more into like the Evangelion style mechs, so I kind of wanted it to have that angular feel, but still feel a little more real world. So I did those designs. I guess the pages aren't in here, but we designed a bunch of the characters and did like a little pitch thing for it. So, oh, the inspiration for Game Over Man. Well, that's just Aliens, man. Growing up on Aliens, I always wondered what happened to Hudson because I didn't want to believe that he had died. So I was like, I'm going to tell this story that I've been thinking of. This is Anti-Grav. This was a pitch I did with Seth Jacob, who's a really, really cool writer to work with. I did a book with him called Astrobiology, and he's doing a book on Kickstarter now called Holy West, which is really neat with Daniel Irizarry. But yeah, this was a pitch we did maybe 3 years ago. Didn't get picked up. And then here's some more stuff from Matt Mary Lowry from his sci-fi Thoughtscape Comics. A little fight scene thing I did. So, anyway, this might be dry. Here's the Drones cover. I was pretty happy with that. I had to figure out this pose, I actually had my wife take a picture of me, so I had some reference. And then the trick when you have reference, I think, is to make it not look so posed. So I try to abstract and really get as far away from it as possible, and like not do any tracing, but try to use things more as a look at it. Because when you just trace something, it really looks bad. So, but yeah, this was a fun one to do. Matt is also great. I would love to work with either one of those guys again. Let's see if this is dry. Maybe I can do a little detail work while I got time here. All right. I'm glad you like the mechs, man. Thanks. Yeah, those were fun. That would have been a fun book to do. Kenny really gets mechs. He's a big Gundam guy, and actually, I'm surprised we haven't worked any mechs into the Schlub yet. Maybe I can talk Kenny into working some of that in there. And then this is just a Pentel brush pen. Probably one of the best tools I've ever gotten turned on to. I kind of resisted it for a while, but once you start using it, it's very versatile. I mean, it's not going to be necessarily the best at all times for all situations, but it's extremely versatile and it travels well. So again, since I have to work in a lot of different situations still, just with my current life situation, it's nice to have some tools that I can just take around with me that are consistent. So here I am using it on this commission. I'm just trying to define some of these lines a little better. Yikes. Give them a little more bounce in some cases. I would love to do more turtles. I was just watching Turtles with my daughter the other day, and some mousers showed up, and when I was younger I did these giant drawings with my brother of just like the turtles fighting 100,000 mousers. I would love to get a commission like that and do that in my current with my current skills, and relive my 12-year-old dream of drawing a crazy drawing. So hello there, Oliver. Hope everybody's having a nice night. I know the weather's been up and down for a lot of folks. It's pretty nice here today in Chicago. Everyone acts like it's crazy, but I don't know, man. If I think back on like my life and all the different places I've lived, especially here in Chicago, there's always years like this where I'm not saying I'm not trying to make any kind of political statements here. I'm just saying everyone always seems so surprised when we get a cold snap in the spring or a warm snap in the winter, and I'm like, I don't know, man. That's like every 3 years that happens. But maybe my memory's not good. Anyway, it's a nice day here today. I like to listen to music or movies and stuff when I work, but when I'm live streaming, I can't do that, or they'll, copyright thing. So it's kind of weird to be in silence here. You can hear my squeaky floors. Oh, thanks for buying the Doom and the Game Over Man. I appreciate that. I really do. I love being able to sell work directly to people. So, or even if you got it at a store, that's cool. But I appreciate it either way. And those are just passion projects. So it's really fun for those to find people. Even more so than when I work on a bigger project, because those ones were just me doing what I wanted. So it's really cool when people like it. Yeah, they're both kind of evergreen. I hope. I think Doom and Aliens are kind of two of the biggest influences on not just our generation, but a lot of other generations. When I say our, I guess I mean anybody my age. I'm actually looking to get hopefully reorder of both of those. They've run out, and so if you got one of the first editions, it actually is a different color than the others. But I'm hoping to get some reprints because I will be at Heroes Con in a couple months in Charlotte, and I'm hoping to have some of those there for that show. I hope some of you folks will come out and see us there. Heroes Con. Yeah, I'd like to do another. If by art book you mean sketchbook, like where I collect commissions and stuff into one little book, that'd be great. I would love to do a new one. My last one was 2 years ago, and I run out of them, and so I need to do a new one. I've just been so swamped because I'm basically working on a monthly book right now, which, even though we got a lot of headway and we're ahead of schedule, way ahead of schedule, it's still just I keep trying to keep up my pace, and so it's been a busy time, but really, like I said, really fun. The Schlub is the new book I'm working on, and it's an absolute joy. So yeah, I would love to do some more Turtles, man. I would like to push the kind of cartoony style that I do, and maybe the blockiness, and then do some cool action with them. I feel like a lot of times when you see the turtles, it doesn't feel like the way they move and look and use their weapons is very specific to the weapons they're using, and it just seems like it'd be cool to see something where each one really does feel like they have their own fighting style. That being said, I haven't read like every Turtles book, so I'm not trying to badmouth any of the artists that have been on. There's been some really great artists on Turtle books. Even that original stuff has such a cool energy to it. I mean, they still had a lot to learn, I think, drawing wise, but darn, it's fun. It's really fun stuff. kind of just noodle my way through it from here usually. And I'll do a pass of inks with different tools, and then a pass with maybe some whiteout or whatever I use for whiteout. I use Pro White, and after that, it's pretty much done. This one's probably got at least 2 or 3 more hours left in it, I would guess. Everyone always wants to know how long things take, and it's a weird question only because, I always give people some kind of answer, right? But some days a drawing like this will take me no time at all, and other days, like is the case with this one, I've had to redo it 3 times because I wasn't happy with the results, and those are the times when putting an actual time of how long it took me to draw it is pretty hard to do. So I usually just say, like, a couple work days, a work day. It really depends on the topic too. Something like this tends to be in a lot of ways easier than, say, a page of a comic, if the page includes a lot of things that are more labor intensive to draw, like buildings or lots of faces can get pretty labor intensive for me, because it's something that I'm always struggling to do a little better with. But if you just want me to draw Wolverine, like, jumping through the air, I mean, that's pretty quick. Well, I guess quick depending on who you're talking to. I have people I've seen that are insanely fast, which is cool. We're all different. Got a little furry loincloth there. Lately I've been listening to a lot of metal as usual, but pretty heavy stuff. I've been really digging Cattle Decapitation lately. They have a new record about to hit, and that music is really good for penciling. Inking, it's nice to have something that's maybe a slightly more even keel, depending on what you're inking, I guess. Just because you tend to be a little more zeroed in with inks and Zen. So I tend to go for more something like Sleep or Om when I'm inking. John Carpenter's another good one for working. Soundtracks to movies are pretty good. If it's, like the Conan soundtrack is one I listen to quite a bit, by Basil Palladores, I think it is. No, that's cool. Well, congratulations to that, man. That's cool. I think I remember reading some Antarctic press books when I was younger. I think I used to pick up oh geez, I can't even remember now. I can't remember if Creed was ever in Antarctic. I used to buy Creed, but I know he was with like 17 different publishers. I don't know, maybe it was Snowman. It was some kind of just violent book. I think I picked it out based on that when I was 12 or whatever. And I think I picked it out of my box the other day and thought, wow. Not great, but had some redeeming qualities. I was all about Creed though, man. That was a cool comic. I used to like drawing that little guy. He had a frog sidekick or something. think everybody does metal a little bit differently. I'm always interested to see how people want to render a metal, especially in different kinds of situations as far as light or elements. Rendering lately, maybe for quite a while now, I don't think anyone will be surprised to hear this, but I do look at a lot of Michael Golden and Scott Williams, Sibyl Portasio for some rendering stuff lately. But I always end up going back to a lot of Kirby and stuff that has like that chunkiness to it. Jason Pearson was a great mix of both. I look at his stuff quite a bit. That's a weird knee, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah, Battletoads would be cool too. I remember that game. I thought it was cool the way you could punch people totally off the screen. I thought that was pretty funny. It did seem like a Turtles knockoff, but that was kind of cool in a way. There was so many things like that at that time. Street Sharks and all these different like sort of anthropomorphic crime fighters or adventurers or whatever, but with sort of some kind of dark twist on it. Yeah, Pearson, especially when he's inked by Carl Story, is just a great mix of shapes, but also like some really nice renderings, and it's good stuff, man. Whew, it's good stuff. Sure if I'll keep that, but I was thinking about putting zip on this, but I don't know if I want to right now. Biker Mice from Mars. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. That's funny, man. Biker Mice from Mars. It's fun to say. I think that's a big part of why people like the Turtles hit. It's so fun to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's so fun. I mean, that's definitely something I've thought about. I've been lucky to be on some projects like Beef Bros is fun to say. The Schlub is fun to say. It's like when you can have that, it's nice. Like, have you ever heard of this comic called The Schlub? Like the idea of people saying that makes me chuckle, and I think that's a good thing. I hope it's a good thing. I cannot take credit for that though. That was all Stegman. He had gotten the title and the story all together before I was on board. I've been able to add a lot, which has been fun as far as maybe characters and designs and stuff. But he definitely had that great title and a really funny set of characters to play with. So by the time I got involved, I was able to sort of dive in from there. I'm really excited for everyone to see what we got going in it. I really wish I could show more of it right now. But as soon as the first issue is announced, I will start putting some art up, and maybe I can draw one of the main characters, when orders are still going out, so that folks can get a sense of them. I'm sure I'll do some stuff over on the KLC Press or Stegman's, I guess Stegworld. I'm not sure what they're calling it, but Ryan Stegman's Substack is where I'll probably be doing a lot of that. But I'll definitely do some of that over here on my channel too. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Ooh, that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Yeah, man, I can't wait either. Because I've been working on it for so long. It's like, but I want everyone to know, though. I mean, the thing I'm not afraid to tell anybody, I'll say it a million times, is this book will be on time because I will be pretty much done with it when the first issue comes out. So, um, I can spend time, promoting it and working on some other stuff for a minute, and hopefully we can get some good readership and do some more. It's hard to find people that you enjoy working with. I had a hard time with it for a long time. I've been really lucky the last maybe 5 years or so. But before that, man, it was tough. It's tough finding people. And it's not like you always got to be friends with them or, they always got to be whatever. But just someone that you gel with creatively, regardless of all the other stuff. But you do have to get along with somebody, at least on some level personally. I mean, I like to, at least. There's not really interviews and HR in comics, in like freelancing in general. And so every time you say yes, it is a little bit of a risk. And so, you just try to be smart about it. And, I've been trying to get better at defining what projects I can spend the time on. And sometimes it has to do with where you're at creatively for me. Because I was talking to a longtime collaborator about a new project that he was doing, and as much as I wanted to do it, it was very far removed from the type of work I'm doing right now. And so, I had to pass just because, hey, that's not really where I'm at creatively right now. Maybe further down the road it will be, or maybe never. But it's tricky. I've been working on it for months now, since last year. I've been working on it, and I have 4 issues done, and we're mostly focusing on the first arc right now, so 6 issues. So I'll have 6 issues under my belt pretty soon here. Just got the script for issue 5. I don't know if that's too much inside baseball for me to be sharing, but I don't think anyone really cares enough to do anything about it, so. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. I've been wrestling with this one, so you get a nice little victory on something. It's good. Couldn't remember what I had going on down here. It's more fur. Tends to get a little busy sometimes, but that's what I like. I like real busy, detailed stuff. This ink does dry pretty slow though, so I always have to make sure I'm paying attention where my hand is. But I usually don't, and end up dragging my hand through it. Even after all this time. It's Still dragging my hand through the ink. So I do work up some lines. Some lines you just get them right the first time, but sometimes I like to get in there and just build it up a little bit. Make it a little juicier, a little more bouncy. Superman's anniversary is today? Man, I had no idea. That's pretty cool. 85, man. I've never really been a Superman guy, but I'm glad that he's been around. I think for a long time there wasn't like a Superman story that I felt was exemplary, you know. But then All Star Superman came out, and that's really probably the best one I've read at least. And even with that, it's a hard character for me. I don't know. He's too powerful. Makes it hard to. But that's funny because in our book we have some characters like that, but you got to have some limitations on them, I think, and we do that. But what do I know? I'm not the writer. I just make it look cool. Or at least I try to. Okay, yeah. The other cool thing we got going on in the schlub that's been fun is, which this piece is kind of an example of too, is there's like different kinds of body types and stuff. So, the villain is more of a slender guy, and the hero is more of a beefy guy. But then there's non-superhero characters and all these wacky villains and superheroes with their own looks to them. We've got so many cool characters that pop in and out of every issue, which has been so much fun to just. I got to make up so many villains and heroes in this book, or visualize them for the guys. Man, this Cerebus guy is weird looking. I think if I drew him like maybe 10 more times, I would start to maybe understand how he works. But right now, it was enough to get him to this point. I don't know if I could design a character like this. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. It's the little things. The little things. So I want to try to keep this black and white. I've been debating using tones, but I'd like to try to keep it black and white. And this whole kind of light thing is a lot easier to sell when you have colors, you know. But with black and white, it's a little trickier for me at least. So trying to get it the right balance of where it's hard on the edge and where it's softer. You never really get, I don't know, I never understood like when people say they're drawing what they see in their head. It's like for me it's always been more of a like there's an idea up there and then there's what my hand is going to do. It's sort of like a conversation between the two of them is more what it feels like to me, to get you something, you know, like some sort of collaboration between the two. But I don't know, maybe those artists are just really good. Yeah, Christopher Reeve, Superman, sure. Yeah, definitely have to show you some concept stuff at some point on here. We did do a whole, and I'm not trying, I don't get any of this money, so I don't know why I'm telling everybody this, mostly because it's cool. On the Substack, on Ryan's Substack, we did do a character sheet reveal of the main characters of the Schlub. So that video is out there somewhere. You might have to be on the Substack, or maybe it's just on Ryan's channel now. I don't know. But we do go through all the main characters, and I show the character design sheets and talk about sort of how I designed them. But I'll definitely do something like that on here too. I'm not sure if I can tonight because I don't have any of that stuff prepared, but maybe next Tuesday I'll do something Schlub related. I might wait until the diamond listing comes out to do that though. Right here, I'll show a page real quick. I'll show a piece of a page. Let's see. Where's something good? There you go. There's two characters from behind and another character's face. So I got some cool sci-fi kind of fantasy superhero kind of look to it. Really fun aesthetic we get to do. So yeah, nobody's seen that page other than Ryan and Kenny and Mike. Mike actually colored that page already, I think. Mike Spicer, what a colorist. Wow. He is, and it's not just that he's really good, but like, he's so good to work with. He's so easy and so easy to work with and so easy to communicate with. And that is nice. But yeah, his colors are insane. The dude is doing something that I don't think a lot of people are doing right now, and it's like he has a realism to the way he colors things, and he lets the rendering be really open, but then he uses really bold color choices, and they will fit the action or emotion of a scene rather than just being like, oh, this room is white with a blue light in it. You know, he'll do like a really punchy orange or pink, and that stuff is so great. Well, thank you, Bryce. That's very nice of you to say. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, Mike. Oh, yeah, very painterly. You know, he's. I think he's one of the best guys working right now, and if he keeps working, I'm sure he'll go down as one of the best colorists around in this time. So, yeah, he of course. I found him through Dan Warren Johnson's work, because he colored everything pretty much that Dan has done has been Mike, and not only did I like his work, but Dan was like, he's really cool and easy and professional, and I was like, well, that's what we need. So Steg's got him. See that line? I should have left a little thinner. I might go back and wipe that out. We'll see. Yeah, when you guys see Mike's work on the schlub, I think you're gonna dig it. I think you're really gonna dig it. I've been lucky to have a good colorist. There's a lot of good colorists out there, but there's also a lot of comics out there, and all the colorists are busy a lot. But it's a lot of it too is not even just like, it's not like some colorists are just better in all ways, but part of it is finding a fit, and like something that fits you as a line artist, but also something that fits whatever the project is, and all that stuff is such a, there's so many variables in there. Okay. I think we're gonna do a little bit of white out, and then we might call it for the night. We'll see. Overdo this here, but there we go. Yeah, Mike's coloring the schlub. That's what I was saying. He's coloring the schlub. He has colored 3 issues thus far. He's probably done 4, but we haven't seen it yet. And they're really great colors, man. They are so great. I think he works with me well. A lot of cool color holds, which I love. A lot of nice, open, not overly rendered sort of figure work, which I like. It looks a lot different from the other stuff that people have probably seen color on for me. It doesn't look very much like Beef Bros colors. Those are great, but this is a totally different project. I think it looks a little more like 90s and a little more like traditional, in some ways, but at the same time it has the crazy palettes and stuff, which I love. I think people will see it and love it, but it looks a lot different from the other colors I've had done on my work. Well, you should see it soon. I think the solicitation should be soon, and I'll have the cover on there, and I will be putting that cover all over my social media. Okay, maybe I'll do this here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of cavalier when I ink. I don't have a defined, like I said, it's more of a conversation. I don't really have a defined plan every time. I kind of noodle things back and forth. It's not always the fastest way to do it, but okay, we're gonna throw some white on this and then work back in some black after that. I'm gonna get off here. See, I drug my hand through it right there. Darn it. Bumping my camera too. All right. There's too too much detail up here. Yeah, fix these derpy teeth over here too. Make this more of a frown. I mentioned before, there's a lot of addition and subtraction. Oh yeah, man, that was fun. It was cool to see some colors on my stuff by you. I love seeing that and seeing it happen live. I was talking earlier about watching people work, and I had never really watched many colorists work. Maybe a little color with Kurt, but it's always interesting to see how people do that. Because with a computer, I feel like there's so many different ways that people use their computer interfaces, like quick keys and stuff and hotkeys, and I maybe just don't use it enough to do that stuff. So whenever I see people doing that, it's like magic tricks to me. I'm like, whoa. I'm the guy who still clicks up in the menu for everything. It's pretty bad. One of my assistants was always teasing me about that. She was like so fast interacting with Photoshop. Oh, thanks, Bryce. Yeah, this commission I'm working on right now. Honestly, who was it? I can't remember who the guy was. I don't think it's any of the folks here. But yeah, he has a whole gallery of this topic of turtles with Cerebus. I wish I could remember right now so I could tell you guys to look at his gallery, but I don't remember. I'll see if I can find it later. But it was cool because he's got like really awesome artists that have all done their Turtles Cerebus mashups in his gallery, and it's very cool stuff. It's fun to be part of those sort of collections, because those people tend to be the ones that are also really into showing their collections to people, because it has like multiple meanings for them. It's not just here's some art I bought, but it's like their idea and their favorite things mashed up. So it's really fun to be in these sort of commission collections. Commissions are a lot of fun for me, honestly. I really enjoy them. I'm still trying to find the balance of how many I can do in a given time frame, because I don't like to rush them. If I can spend a couple days or more on 11x17 commission, it always feels a lot more like I've accomplished something that I can be proud of. That being said, doing the fast ones at shows are kind of fun. At C2E this last month, I did some 6x9s at the show, and they were really fun because I was forced to work a little faster and to really just bang it out and be very judicious with my choices. And I sometimes that makes for really good work. Sometimes that's a really good kick in the pants for me to just sort of, loosen up a little bit. I lost a zero over here. Armor. As soon as I put this white out away is when I will see something else that needs that I want to add white to. That's always what happens. Go clean my brush, come back. Oh shoot. That was not a good experiment. And this is Pro White. Once I started using this, I haven't really gone back to anything else. I do use some Posca pens as well now, and like a gel pen type thing for fine detail stuff, but I still think this one's the best one. I've tried some white ink, I've tried different kinds of acrylics, I've tried just regular whiteout. This one is versatile, and you can water it down if you want it to be a little thinner. It tends to cover really well if it's not too thinned out. So, I recommend it. Now, if they can just give me some money for mentioning them on my live stream, we're good to go. The Ticking Clock, man. Classic. Yeah, I'm hoping to. I'm trying to do Tuesdays. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm trying to get back into this, so we'll see. But I do have it, on my list of things to do every Tuesday to hop on here. Sometimes I'll do some work. Sometimes I might just show some comics. Last week I did a flip through of Frank Frazetta, the Frank Frazetta art book that just came out. So if anybody didn't see that, you can go to my channel and check it out. I go through. Not the entire book because I didn't want to show every page, but I go through a good chunk of the book and just talk about Frazetta and what I think about his work and what it means to me, and that was fun. So I might do some stuff like that too, because I don't always have stuff going that I could show. Like for instance, if I was working on a Schlub page tonight, I couldn't show that. So on those nights, I'll try to do something else. But yeah, hopefully next Tuesday I can be on here as well. And actually, that's a great cue for me because I got to go wash my brush. But hey, anybody who tuned in or anybody who's watching this after the fact, thank you very much. Subscribe. I got more stuff coming. Check out the Schlub from Image Comics. Have a nice night, everybody.